All right, guys. This is the next episode of Hot Takes and Pump Fakes. We got David Prince. We got second time guest Matt Owens, and we got newcomer Luke Prince, aka David's brother, and myself, James Garey. Now, you're probably looking at this Skype call, this podcast, thinking, where's the other four guys? Well, one of them's playing an intramural basketball game. One of them has to wake up early. One has a slight headache. And the other, well, he's probably being a simp. I'm going to let y'all decipher who's doing what. Y'all can,
Brewer.
y'all can comment on the video, take a guess. We'll provide the answers on next week's episode. This weekend was interesting for sports, XFL debut, All Star weekend for the NBA, spring training coming, started. I want to hear y'all's thoughts on the NBA's All Star Weekend. I'll swing it to newcomer Luke. Luke, you can also introduce yourself. Give us a couple facts, couple background
Okay.
stories. Go ahead.
Well, I am Luke. I am also David's brother. And I'll say this. All-Star Weekend is getting more boring by the years, okay? The only thing that was good about this weekend was that boy Mac McClung, okay? That was the only thing that actually impressed me. Skills challenge, it sucks. The new format is lame and I do not like it at all. The three-point contest is perfect where it's at. I don't think any changes need to happen with that. All-Star game format, the new Kobe format, whatever. That's also pretty entertaining, but when the players don't try, it just kind of puts a depressing view on the game itself.
Word. How would you fix the current NBA All Star game format, specific the All Star game?
I mean, you could go back to the old format, but if these players ain't putting any energy into the game, it's not going to be fun to watch at all. So maybe put something on the line. I have no clue. The players, man, they gotta bring some energy to it.
Yeah, I agree. I don't want to watch LeBron just throw it off the backboard every other play and just dunk it. That's just at some point that just gets a little boring. I'm swinging it over to Matt Owens. Matt, what was your thoughts on NBA All Star Weekend?
Well, just like Jalen Brown said, it was a glorified layup line. It was absolutely terrible. I didn't even watch it. I didn't even watch the whole way through. Just lost interest. Like Luke said, there needs to be some like more competitiveness to it. And that goes for all the All Star games. I thought the NFL All Star game was trash too. I hated that format. I think they just need to go back to playing an actual game, make it competitive, and actually watch these guys ball rather than just go up and do ridiculous stuff. Um, yeah, Mac McClung was good. Also, I saw something on it was like Instagram, Twitter, or something. I don't know if it's like a preview into the future script for the NBA. But whenever Giannis won All Star MVP, he also won Finals MVP. Whenever Steph won Finals MVP or won All Star MVP, he won Finals MVP. So now Tatum, I mean, he scored the most points ever in the All Star game and won MVP. Does that mean we get a Celtics Finals this year? Or are they the champion this year?
Could happen.
Yeah, I
That's
think
right.
right now
Sure.
it could happen. I think they're the front runner right now. It's just a loaded team. But yeah, Matt, I got a specific question for you since you also brought up Mac McClung. Do you think he has a real shot at becoming a real NBA player?
I think he's more of like and I say this just because of the dunk contest, but I think he's like a Zach LaVine. Like, I think he'll be like a good role player. He may step into a starting role, but he's more of like a role player. Yeah, he does some filthy stuff, not in an actual game. But I think he'll go his whole career a role player. I don't think he'll ever be like a big three per se.
Okay. I could see it happening if he continues to improve. Hopefully the Sixers give him a shot this season. I don't know if they will just because they're looking for a championship the way that team's rolling. I think they're probably the second best team in the East right now, but it's going to be really hard to catch up to the Celtics. David, I know you got some interesting thoughts on All-Star Weekend. Let me hear. Let's hear them.
All right. Yeah, talking about Matt McClung, that was pretty spectacular. Seeing him, the double clutch was kind of nasty. You know what I mean? He just did Matt McClung things. We saw it in high school. We saw it in college. It just transferred over. The game was just boring, as y'all were saying. Like you said, James, I don't want to see somebody throw it off the backboard 2 times and just dunk it. I did like the little bit where Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown guard each other. That's how it should be. Like, actually guarding each other, not just half behind and everything, and just letting people score. It's not fun to watch. How does Dame winning the 3-point contest affect his legacy? We're missing out one of the all-time highlights though from this weekend. The miss from half court. That was kind of crazy.
Yeah, honestly, the celebrity game was pretty entertaining.
Yeah,
Like there's a lot of stuff and it's fun seeing celebrities actually be athletes and try to perform on a stage that most people can't get to. So
And
it was pretty fun.
Old DK Metcalf getting a drug test right after.
Yeah, that was nuts. That just goes to show that most NFL guys could probably play another sport at a collegiate level, I think. Anyways, David, question for you. Since LeBron didn't win All-Star MVP, how does that affect his legacy?
I don't know, man. I think it affects it pretty drastically. You know.
Since we're on the LeBron topic, what's up? Does he have beef with Alexander?
I got no idea.
All right, David, I'll give you a serious question though. Stephen A. Smith said on Sunday that LeBron James has ruined the slam dunk contest, even though he's never participated in the slam dunk contest. I would like to see your insight on this, since you're very critical of LeBron, and if you agree with Stephen A. Smith.
I don't think there's only a couple of times I think I've ever agreed with Stephen A. Smith, and I don't think I'm going to agree with him right here. You got guys like Ja Morant and Matt McClung, who's just as explosive for their. I mean, like they're not. I mean, LeBron's 6'8". There's no doubt in that. So obviously his dunks are probably going to look even more hammered. But I mean, Ja Morant's like 6 foot, 6'1". Same with Matt McClung. I mean, those guys are not your tallest guards at that, and they're making dunks like that. That's crazy. If you had Matt McClung and Ja Morant in the dunk contest, I think it just takes it to a whole nother level. Just adding that one more player that can dunk like crazy. But no, I don't think LeBron ruined the dunk contest because you got a lot of great dunkers, Vince Carter, just guys like that.
Yeah, my thoughts on it on this weekend. I'm going to start off with the LeBron Stephen A. Smith talk. Look, I think LeBron's mindset in this is that he definitely knows he's not even a top 10 dunker per se in the NBA. And he probably wants other guys to get that opportunity to showcase their skill set, because he can showcase his skill set 82 games, 16 games in the playoffs. And he's just going to still perform. He's still going to throw highlights at every single game. He's not going to miss a beat. Whereas some of these smaller guys like a Terrence Ross, Mac McClung, Trey Murphy, we've never seen those guys play 35 minutes a night, be able to showcase their athleticism like that. So, no, I don't think LeBron has ruined the dunk contest, but it would be interesting to see like a star player get back in the dunk contest. It'd be nice to see Ja get in it, maybe Zion. Maybe run it back with Levine and Gordon at some point.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think a couple things to fix the NBA All-Star Weekend. Why not throw a little King of the Court matchup? Everybody, this is a one-on-one league now. Let's throw a little King of the Court. You can have some older vets in there, like a Kevin Durant. You can throw some younger guys in there, like Anthony Edwards. Just get some of the better one-on-one players in the league and let them go at it, King of the Court style. I think that'd be interesting. I think everyone would tune into that, and it would definitely settle some arguments on who's the best one-on-one player.
Yeah.
And the All-Star game, I think it's beyond repair at this point. I don't think you got to find a way to incentivize these guys to play hard during their break. I just don't think it's possible at this point. I think you're going to have to throw some type of financial reward towards them, maybe a playoff reward. But as of right now, I don't think there's a logical solution to fixing the All-Star game for the NBA. David, I'm going to let you introduce the next topic. I'm going to swing it to you, so go ahead.
All right, fellas. We're going to talk a little bit about the free agency that's about to go down in the NFL, and want to hear y'all's thoughts on it. I think I'm going to swing it over to the guest we had last week, Matt Owens. What are your thoughts on the free agency?
So a couple predictions on what I think is going to happen. Same one as last week. Lamar Jackson is going to the Falcons. I firmly believe he's going to the Falcons. Also, Derek Carr. I no longer think. I really think he's going to the Jets. What was the other team that was involved with him?
Saints, I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah. I think the Jets are going to get this one. They're going to come in late. I think what happened is they missed out on Aaron Rodgers. Got Aaron Rodgers' attention first, and couldn't work out anything with him, so they're going to go after Carr now. Also, I got two more. OBJ is going to sign back with the Giants, help them make that playoff run next year. And also, Tony Pollard becomes a free agent and signs with the Carolina Panthers.
Interesting. I'm trying to think of a question to ask, but I'll stick with the Pollard. You got any other possible teams you think where Pollard could go instead of the Panthers?
I don't know. That's tough. I mean, there's several different ways he could go. I mean, obviously he could stay with the Cowboys if they're willing to throw money at him. But that would mean they've given up on Zeke. So then the conversation becomes, where's Zeke gonna go? But I mean, that to me, as far as I know, from what I've seen, the Panthers have the cap money to sign him. CMC's gone. I think they're going to go into the draft. They're going to draft Anthony Richardson, and they're going to get Tony Pollard back there with him. And then the Panthers going to be rocking and rolling, man.
I hope so. That'd be awesome to see. Let's go ahead.
I got a possibility for Pollard. Why would the Cowboys just not franchise tag him?
That is a possibility.
Yeah.
And go draft a receiver or something with their first round pick. I think that's the way to go for the Cowboys. I don't think you can let Tony Pollard walk, but there's a strong possibility that they just let him go wherever he wants.
Try to stick with Zeke.
Yeah, it just depends on how comfortable they feel with Zeke. If they feel like Zeke can still carry the load week in, week out. I don't think he can. I think he's kind of past his years. But
let's go ahead and swing it over to our newest guest, my brother, Luke Prince.
Yeah, about Tony Pollard and Zeke, I do not think Zeke will be a Cowboy next year. I think they're going to stick with Tony Pollard for the good and the better because he is better. And Matt Owens, you claim that OBJ would probably sign with the Giants, which is a possibility. But Giants have two major free agents, Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones. And that boy DJ, He's asking for a bag.
Yeah, that money.
He is asking for way too much money because I promise you he is not that good. So if one of them is willing to make a pay cut just, to try and help the Giants get better, so be it. But one of them might be gone. But also, I would also say OBJ definitely has this possibility of signing with the Giants, maybe even back to the Rams if they can figure out some sort of stuff. But yeah, Lamar, that's one I've been stuck on. I've seen a lot of Falcons rumors going on with him. As a Patriots fan, I would love to see him in that nice red and blue next year, but highly unlikely possibility. But yeah, that's all my thoughts on free agency.
With the OBJ going to the Giants, I know Matt touched on it as well. You think OBJ will at least maybe get back to somewhat what he was like in the Giants, maybe 80% of what he was like in the Giants?
Well, if you look at the Super Bowl last year, OBJ was balling. He was balling. Now, if he can bounce back as well as he was before injury, then I definitely think he'll be able to put up 1,000+ receiving yards because who do they have at receiver?
Nobody.
You know what I'm saying? Who do they have at receiver? Darius Slayton? Yeah, I definitely think he'd ball. He'd definitely be wide receiver one.
I think so as well. Let's go ahead and swing it over to James Garey.
I made a list of 10 free agents, but I'm going to touch first on the two that Matt and Luke mentioned that I didn't have in my list. As I said before, I think Pollard's going to get the franchise tag, but the Cowboys do have another free agent in Dalton Schultz. I think they're going to let him walk, let him go sign wherever he wants to. I think tight end's a very replaceable position in the NFL. So I think they let Schultz walk and franchise tag Pollard, get another year out of him, and try to make a Super Bowl run. OBJ, I think he's going to sign like a minimum deal to Buffalo. I think they need some help at receiver. I think they need a strong, reliable number two instead of inconsistency at the 2 and 3 from Isaiah McKenzie and Gabe Davis. I think OBJ goes there. Now, my list, Lamar. Fellas, I think he's a New York Jet. I think that's the best destination for him, the best fit. I think they got the best run game, the best offensive line available to him, and a young stud in Garrett Wilson. They can easily go get another piece at receiver, get some help on defense, and that is a Super Bowl contender. Go ahead, Matt.
One guy that we have not mentioned this entire time is Aaron freaking Rodgers.
I mean, he could be a free agent at some point, but right now he's not.
Yeah.
Do you think he goes back to the Packers?
I don't know.
What
do
do
you think?
Do what?
I've been seeing some Raiders rumors with him.
I really think it depends on after the draft, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I think it's Raiders 100%. They cleared up all that cap room, getting rid of Carr. They're gonna throw everything to get Rodgers.
Well, can I chip in for something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
I saw a report about the GOAT himself, Tom Brady. Apparently, Darren Waller claimed that he was 100% going to sign or go to the Raiders after this past season with the Bucks before he retired. Which could, I don't know. I mean, I guess they'd be comfortable with Aaron Rodgers, and I could definitely see that happening. It would be deadly for the league because if you replace Derek Carr with Aaron Rodgers with that stacked of an offense, that AFC West is going to be dirty.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be dirty.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, Derek Carr, Carolina Panther. Here's why. I don't think Carolina should draft a quarterback. I think you can easily win this division right now if you go get Derek Carr. I mean, it's open, especially if Lamar doesn't go to Atlanta. You go place Derek Carr in Carolina, they're going to win the division, and they're going to be a top – obviously, they'll be a top 4 seed in the playoffs, which helps. So that's my take. Daniel Jones, he's getting the franchise tag, guys. Sorry. They're not going to give him what he wants. They can tag him. He's just going to have to deal with it and play football. All-pro Javon Hargrave, defensive tackle from the Eagles. Eagles are going to sign him back. That's probably going to be the only free agent they get to sign back. Deron Payne, another stud defensive tackle. Commanders are going to franchise tag him. James Bradbury, the man who potentially cost the Eagles the Super Bowl. Eagles are going to franchise tag him. They can't let that guy walk. He's way too good. All-pro corner. You let him walk, then that's just a bad sign for the Eagles, and that really makes them take a step back. Jesse Bates III, probably the best safety in the free agent class. He's leaving Cincinnati. He's going to Atlanta. He was hanging out with them boys earlier this week. They really want him. That improves their secondary a lot with A.J. Terrell, Casey Hayward, and now him. That's just going to be a tough secondary for Derek Carr to throw against for 2 games a week. Saquon Barkley, he's not going anywhere. He's staying with New York. They're going to give him a nice deal. They can't franchise tag that guy if you're going to franchise tag Daniel Jones. So Saquon's returning. Josh Jacobs also returning to the Raiders on a franchise tag. And then Jimmy G, little sleeper free agent pick.
I was just about to ask about that.
He's going to New Orleans, guys.
Really?
On like a 2-year deal. They're going to go draft Caleb Williams with the first pick in next year's draft.
No, I think I think he follows Brady to the Bucs.
Maybe so. That's a potential destination. But here's a question. I think there's going to be a potential free agent coming up. His name is Mike Evans. I think the Bucs are going to have to cut him. They're way over the cap. He's a guy with one of the biggest salaries. Let that guy go try to win another Super Bowl. He's done way too much for your franchise. Cut him off. Let him go somewhere. I want to know y'all's thoughts on where Mike Evans, if cut, would go to.
You feel me to be completely honest.
Maybe the Bears.
I could see the Bears. I could see the Patriots. I could also see. That's my main 2 right now. It's the Bears.
I think if he's cut, he's a Patriot.
I can see that. Yeah, I guess it happening. What about you, Matt?
Trying to figure out who has cap space.
Okay. While you're looking at that, I'm going to ask you a question, James, about Lamar Jackson to the Jets. You think we'll see another MVP season out of Lamar Jackson with him going to the Jets with having a nice little Garrett Wilson at wide receiver?
That's a dark horse MVP, man. You got to think. The Jets had the best run game before Breece Hall got hurt. And it's still, even without him, they were still running on all cylinders with the run game, especially when you got freaking Mike White, Zach Wilson, Joe Flacco combo at quarterback. And that run game was still just moving, man. And then you got Breece Hall coming back. Like, it's just that opens up Lamar to run the ball, throw the ball. He's going to have protection. And Nathaniel Hackett, honestly, might be a good offensive coordinator for him. I mean, you saw what he did with Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. Unfortunately, it didn't work out in Denver, but things happen. I think Lamar's got to see it. Big market, big play, big division. Go win a Super Bowl. Go win an MVP. That's the best situation for him. He's going to be playing under the lights in New York.
All right.
Oh, my God. Bye.
Yeah, old Mike Evans. I can definitely see the Bears. That makes sense. Just looking at their cap room, I mean, they got $96 million to play with, which is insane. But another way I saw that kind of raised my eyebrow here. So Cincinnati, they're looking to get rid of T. Higgins, right?
Potentially.
They have right now $36 million in the positive cap space. They could make a move and go get a Joe Burrow, some more weapons out there.
Yeah, not gonna happen. They'll extend Joe Burrow right now. Yeah, that's what that cap space is going towards.
Yeah, it's going towards Joe
for like a $50 million a year type of extension. I think it'd be stupid not to do it right now.
He's the second best quarterback in the NFL. You got to give it to him.
He's like, yep.
Oh.
All right.
I don't know
Can you see me? Yeah, y'all can see me. With some of my free agency, I'm gonna go with Lamar going to ATL. I'm gonna stick with that. Gino's going to sign back with the Seahawks. I don't see him leaving. Another one we didn't pick up was he's a little bit of an older guy, but it's Levante David.
Mm.
I think he's going to try to catch himself a little bit of a check before he heads out of the league. I think he's going to go to Chicago.
Whew.
Yeah, I can see it.
Sorry, Luke, but I think Jacoby Meyer leaves unless Pat's getting the QB change.
That's fine. We
I'm
got
gonna be 100%
guys
honest
just
with
like him.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna stick with Derek Carr with the rumors of him going to New Orleans. I think Josh Jacobs gonna stay and get a big paycheck because Derek Carr's out of there and they have a lot of cap space. Orlando Brown stays in Kansas City. I think he's just gonna say this is a hot take. Buffalo's down 20 mil in cap space. So there's with this player, I think there's two possibilities of what he wants to do. Does he want to get to the Super Bowl or does he want a paycheck? And that's Tony Pollard. So I'm thinking if he's in win now, I want to get a ring. I think he's going to try to Buffalo. If Tony Pollard's interested in Buffalo or Buffalo's interested in Tony Pollard, I think they might make that happen because I think that was one of their weakest points this season was not having a solid running back. I mean, you got Devin Singletary back there. He doesn't really impress that many people. And if I think that really completes your offense, if you have a really good back there, and I think if he's in win now mode, like y'all want to go get a ring, I think Tony Pollard's going to end up in Buffalo.
All right, David. My question with that is, he's probably going to be like $10 million a year at least.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say you sign him to a 3-year, $33 million deal.
Right.
The Bills have to cut somebody in order for that to happen. Who could you see the Bills just letting go? Because it's going to be a decent player.
Yeah, Devin Singletary and Dawson Knox be the two.
Okay.
And but if he just wants a check, I don't think he's going to stay. I think that boy is wanting a check. That's what I'm starting to lean towards. I think he's going to end up on the Bears. Just have a nice little up and coming quarterback, Justin Fields. A little
that's a dirty run game.
Most definitely. Yeah. And I think Jimmy G is going to go to Carolina.
No, he's that.
I could see it. I see it.
I want Jimmy G as my quarterback.
Matt, here's the thing.
I'd rather have a rookie or Matt Corral. Give me Matt Corral.
Well, here's the thing. If you're saying you're going to draft Anthony Richardson, right?
Yeah.
You think he's ready to step on that field first week, like the very first week? He's ready to go start and command an NFL offense?
No, that's why you ease him
out. Jimmy G. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
No,
why you go sign Jimmy G?
I got a couple more guys.
At the 49ers when Trey Lance was going to take over, Jimmy
G
stuck around like I mean, he's like a stray dog. I mean, he just sits there and he'll stick around, then he'll get a shot. Then he'll go down or get injured or play bad. Then he'll just stay around. Then you'll see his name pop up again. I do not want that as a Carolina Panthers quarterback.
But I got a couple more guys in free agency. The other sleeper guy is Alan Lazard. He didn't have too great of a season. You know what I mean? So, but he was still wide receiver one on the Packers. I think a team that just needs that one more piece is the Detroit Lions. So I think the Lions are going to go get that guy. He's a sleeper wide receiver. I think if you put him on the right team, he could definitely make some stuff happen. Definitely be a nice wide receiver, too, behind Amon-Ra St. Brown.
That's a pretty good wide receiver room. You got him, Jameson Williams, and Alan Lazard, a vet coming in. That's scary for Jared Goff, man.
Most definitely. And the last one would be Fletcher Cox. He's also on the older side. So I think Fletcher Cox is going to get that check, and he's going to go to the Bears. Try to get some of that money.
Oh, yeah, I can see it.
The Bears need a defensive line. They were idiot. I mean, I understand why you let Khalil Mack and Roquan Smith, you trade them, but they really missed that this year.
Most definitely. But let's swing it right back to you, James, to introduce our next topic.
All right. We're going to do a little way too early college football playoff. Here's how this is going to work. We're going to do 6 teams.
Okay.
You're going to introduce your first 2 out first. And then you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, just like how they do it with the CFP.
Okay.
I think that's how they do it. I'm not too sure.
I think so as well.
I might be wrong. Anyways, David, you can go first.
Okay. I didn't really do a specific one. I'm just gonna do it off the top of my head. At number 6. Let's see what I got up in here. I'm gonna go with Tennessee Volunteers. At number 5, we're gonna go with I gotta think.
I think you know.
You know.
You know.
Come on, David. You know.
You know. We talked about it already. You know.
I don't know, man.
It's got to be somebody.
Yeah, I know. I'll come back to number 5.
Okay. Okay.
At number 4, we're going with Alabama.
Okay.
At number 3, we're going with a nice little Michigan. At number 2, it's kind of crazy. Might be a hot take, Florida State. And at number 1, they might just go back to back, Georgia.
Okay.
Now for that number 5 spot, I've got a couple different teams in my head, and I can't really just pick one. Let's just
Pick one.
Mm,
You know. David, I'm gonna give you a countdown from 5, and you gotta say the first thing that comes to your mind.
okay. Well, it's
You know, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Clemson.
Okay. Okay.
Here.
Now, you said Tennessee and Clemson 5 and 6. What are like a couple reasons why you think they cannot get into the playoff?
The Beamer Bowl.
We were talking about it on the way back. There's some teams that are gonna pop out this year in the ACC. I think Tennessee's gonna drop another game like they did to South Carolina again this year. It might not be South Carolina again this year, but I think they'll drop a game like they did this past year. With Clemson, I think they're gonna lose. I mean, you got to play Notre Dame this year, who looked really good right there, and versus South Carolina in that bowl game, just put up a lot of points, and they got a lot of guys coming back as well, and I think that's going to be really hard. Notre Dame, you got May coming back. He's already got season 1 underneath his belt. That's scary. You know what I mean? He's just going to get even more comfortable. I think they'll drop another game, maybe to Florida State. That would be a really good game this year. And North Carolina, those 3 teams, North Carolina, Florida State, and maybe even Miami.
Yeah, for sure. Luke, I saw your face when David said the Florida State Seminoles under Mike Norvell's leadership at 2. Can I just hear your initial reaction to that, or what?
I mean, ain't really much to say. It's just, I mean, I just don't see Florida State being that much of a powerhouse next year. They'll definitely be one of the higher ACC teams, but I just personally, I mean, anything can happen. You know, it's the future, but my personal opinions, I don't think they'll be that, like a top 6 seed good next year.
Well, I'll follow that up for David and Luke. Does Florida State win the ACC championship?
I think so.
No.
Luke, no?
I
think so.
I'm riding with the boys, okay?
Okay. Not a bad pick.
I'll get to it in a second. Okay? I'll get to it.
Okay, well, go ahead, Luke. Let's hear your way too early college football playoff.
Starting off with the first 2 out, I got 2 SEC teams. Number 6, give me the Tennessee Volunteers. They'll have another pretty good year, like David said, and I think, like he said, they'll drop 1 to 2 games, to some people. 5, this might be a little bit of a shocker. Got Alabama. Once again, losing Bryce Young. I'm not sure what the situation at quarterback's going to be. I got some fixing to do. Getting into our playoffs. At the 4 spot, like I just said, give me the Clemson Tigers. Recruiting has been phenomenal. K. Klubnik going to come in, and if he fails, we got an even bigger stud on the bench. So, following with that, number 3, another playoff team, the Michigan Wolverines. I think they'll be solid as a rock this year again. Number 2, I don't remember if David said this team, but this team has the Heisman winner on it. Caleb Williams with the USC Trojans, second place. And first of all, Georgia. I mean, they are building a legacy there right now. They are looking very unstoppable. Recruiting is going up by the years. Just don't see many people who are going to be able to stop them.
Okay. My question for you, Luke, is with the some of the slip ups for Clemson last year. There's a couple performances, a couple games that didn't go Clemson's way. Do you think that Cade Klubnik and the Clemson Tigers offense can potentially turn this thing around with the addition of brand new offensive coordinator Garrett Riley? Can him and Cade Klubnik figure this out and get this team back into the playoff?
Yeah, I was going to say, we had a few botches last year. By few, I mean some pretty big ones. I mean, don't want to say I hate the guy because I can never say that, but DJ, he was pretty mid last year. Let's be honest. He had a pretty good start to the season, but I can't remember what game it was. It might have been the Notre Dame game, but something just flipped in him and he just became straight poop. So Garrett Riley, obviously, great offensive coordinator. He took a team to the national championship. What more can you say? Cade Klubnik showed his worth in the ACC championship. He did have a pretty bad bowl game, but that's going to be behind him now. He got to learn to grow from that. I think we're looking to a pretty good 2024 Clemson football team, 2023, 2024.
Yeah, my opinion on Clemson is Will Shipley has to touch the ball 25 times a game. And if Garrett Riley can do that and get him the ball, I think they have a really good shot at getting back into the playoff. Matt, let's hear it.
All right, so I'm not even going to talk about the Clemson football thing. That's just ridiculous. They're losing 4 games this year. I'm looking at their schedule right now.
It could happen. It could very well happen.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I see. I mean, they beat Chargers.
Can I interrupt for a sec?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, round of applause for Clemson for playing a semi-tough schedule this year. Just a little round of applause. Finally they get a nice tough schedule. If they do something with it, I can't say anything about their schedule because it's a very tough schedule.
Hey, if they do great and they make the playoffs this year, okay, I will tip my hat to good old Dabo over there. But like, I don't see him beating Florida State. I don't see him beating Notre Dame. I don't see him beating North Carolina, and I think South Carolina gets a 2-peat. That might be a little biased, but I think they get a little 2-peat here. Anyways, back to the top 6. First 2 out for me. Number 6, I got Oregon. Budnick's coming back. My boy Jordan Birch obviously went over there. RIP. I think they finished 6, man. And then number 5, I got USC, the Trojans. Caleb Williams coming back. Unfortunately, he falls short yet again because at number 4, I have the Georgia Bulldogs. USC does not get past Georgia. I think Georgia has a really great year. I think they do slip 1 game during the regular season. I'm not saying South Carolina. It's probably not going to be South Carolina, but I think they do slip 1 game during the regular season and then lose that championship to Alabama. Number 3, I have North Carolina Tar Heels. The 1-loss Tar Heels. Obviously, I can't have them beating South Carolina in that rivalry game. I can't put my soul to that. But North Carolina finishes 3. I trust the process with Mac Brown. I think he's recruited a whole lot over there. Drake May is him. I really like Drake May. He's a really good quarterback. Number 2, I have Michigan. Michigan, they had a really great season last year. They're returning a bunch of those guys. I think Michigan has a hell of a year. And then, obviously, number 1, Alabama. It doesn't matter who's at quarterback. I have their depth chart pulled up. It's either going to be Jalen Milroe, or Ty Simpson, freshman, sophomore. I don't think it really matters. It's Nick Saban we're talking about here. You can forget Kirby Smart, whatever. He hasn't made it there yet. Nick Saban is the GOAT when it comes to coaching. And I think last year, frankly, just pissed him off. I think he's going to come back with a vengeance this year. And I don't know if they'll win it, but that's my top 6 with Michigan, Alabama playing in the national championship.
Man, you're gonna piss off Kelvin with that one. Shout out Kelvin, man. Anyways, Matt. Question. You may not know the answer, but if you were Nick Saban right now, going into spring camp, who's starting at quarterback?
For Bama, Ty Simpson.
Ty Simpson?
Give me the freshman.
Okay. Yeah, I've been reading he has a little bit of a better arm than Milroe, but Milroe's just so fast. It's honestly, I think it's going to be a game time decision week 1.
Yeah, I think just knowing Nick Saban, he is going to go with that strong arm, more of a quarterback presence. That a little bit of the RPO action that he likes to do. But Ty Simpson, I'm pretty sure he was a 5-star coming out of high school, right?
4 or 5.
Yeah, I mean, he was highly recruited. Plays at Alabama, but yeah, I think it's Ty Simpson. But like I said, I don't think it really matters. I mean, who's at quarterback? Yeah, we've had some great years with Nick Saban, where he's won, with the Bryce Youngs of the world and Jalen Hurts and all of them. But you got to remember there was a time where he won with AJ McCarron.
That's what I'm thinking.
I mean,
XFL superstar.
Yeah, I mean, the man is an absolute genius. You could put me back there at quarterback, and I still think they're the number 1 team in the country. You could put old Luke Prince back there at quarterback, and I still think they're the number 1 team in the country.
That might be the hottest
Hey,
take.
I'm not opposed to that statement.
Holy crap, that might be one of the hottest takes of all time.
I'm just saying.
So we got to clip that. All right, I'm going to give y'all my 6. At number 6, I'm going with Penn State. I think they when you're bringing 2 guys that ran over 1,000 yards and returning most of that defense, they're going to be the second best team in the Big Ten. So they're obviously going to be in the top 6. And their quarterback coming in, a lot of Penn State fans were wanting him to start over Sean Clifford. Drew Aller, I think he's going to be a stud. I just think he's going to fall short this year. But big things are coming for Penn State. At 5, I'm with Matt on this one. USC Trojans. Caleb Williams, obviously, he's probably going to win the Heisman again, I think. But I don't think he has the help at receiver. And Lincoln Riley, as Kelvin has said, he can't get a defense on any of his teams. Oklahoma, he's never had a defense. USC's defense was abysmal. You let Tulane put almost 50 on your head in the bowl game. I don't think their defense shapes up anytime soon. So I think that's what holds them back. They need a guy at receiver to step up, and their defense has to step up in order for them to make the playoff and win the Pac-12. Because at 4, I got Bo Nix and the Oregon Ducks. I think they've reloaded on defense. With some transfers, with some guys going to the draft. When you get an edge like Jordan Birch, I mean, that's a good sign for your program. Awesome recruiting class. I mean, some of those guys are going to instantly play day 1. They're going to make a huge impact. And Bo Nix, I mean, me and David and Matt probably called him Bo Picks when he was at Auburn, but
terrible.
He threw 3 interceptions against South Carolina, or J.C. Horn caught 3 interceptions against them. In a ranked matchup during COVID season. And, this guy's really turning around. I think he's going to even do better than he did last year. I think he's probably going to end up being number 2 in Heisman. I just don't think he's going to beat Caleb Williams, but he does beat him in the Pac-12 championship. 3, Florida State. Number 1 transfer class. You bring back a first-round edge rusher, Jared Verse. You bring back Jordan Travis. You bring back your RB1, wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2. and all of your offensive line is coming back, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter who you play. When you got those guys on offense, you got those guys on defense, it's going to be really hard to stop Florida State this year. They got a tough matchup week 1, LSU. I think they beat them by 2 scores, and it sets the tone for the rest of the season. Jaheim Bell, obviously that's a great transfer to add. I'm not sure how they're going to use him just because of the weapons that they have, but it's going to be interesting to see. Former South Carolina Gamecock. At 2, RIP. At 2, I got Georgia. I think Georgia, obviously, they got guys, still got guys. We'll continue to get guys. This is Kirby Smart we're talking about. I remember he had a quote earlier. He said, it doesn't matter how hard you coach, you got to be able to recruit. And that's what they do year in, year out. They recruit, develop. And now it's looking like they're the guys to bring NFL talent to their school. At 1, I got Michigan. I think this is their year. I think the guys that they brought back this year, I think they have the most returners coming back out of the 4 college football playoff teams this year. When you bring back J.J. McCarthy and you bring back Blake Corum, you're going to be able to run on at people. You're going to be able to throw on people. Offensive line at Michigan is always nasty, good, fast, quick. And I think Jim Harbaugh is pissed off. I think he knows that they shouldn't have dropped that game to TCU. They probably watched that national championship together and watched TCU absolutely get steamrolled. Michigan easily makes it a close game, I think, just because I think their offensive line matches up with that defensive line. But, yeah, I think Michigan wins it all this year. Jim Harbaugh finally gets that monkey off his back and does the damn thing. So
I got just a hypothetical. If you had to choose, obviously, Nicholas Harbor, the recruit that signed to South Carolina, there was a big recruiting battle between us and Oregon. If you had to trade, would you trade Nicholas Harbor up to get Jordan Burch back, or would you keep it how it is where we have Harbor and they have Burch?
Give me Harbor every freaking time.
Give me a guy with track level, like U.S. medalist, Olympic medalist, track level speed. And yeah, Brian Brewer. You got to follow the ABCs. Always be recruiting. Shout out Brian Brewer. I think it doesn't matter. You got to continue to recruit. And I'd rather get a new guy coming in any day of the week as opposed to a guy who was kind of on the fence of whether he should leave or not.
What if it was like this again? This is another just hypothetical. What if it was Burch was still a freshman?
Absolutely.
I think you always have to recruit now. It doesn't matter. I think you can't worry about guys leaving because guys are just going to leave, and there's nothing you can do.
Okay, I guess what I'm trying to ask is, okay, say Burch is a freshman.
I know what you're trying to ask. Yeah. You're trying to ask
which would you choose, Burch or Harbor? If they were both coming in same class, they were both freshmen this year, and South Carolina could only pick one of them.
I think you'd have to go Burch just because we're thin at edge right now. Whereas at the receiver position, I mean, you're bringing back a first-team All-SEC guy in Juice Wells, Dak Joyner, Xavier Legette. But I think what you're trying to get at is are you more worried about roster retention, bringing back guys, or recruiting new guys?
I think it's mostly roster retention. I think now, granted, y'all know I'm one of the biggest South Carolina fans around, but I think Beamer, whenever he came in, he put such an emphasis on the transfer portal that it's the same thing you see at Colorado, right? Deion came in there, he said, "Look, come in, and y'all gonna have to compete." And a bunch of those guys got scared and transfer out. It's just the way college football is now. And I think whenever a coach comes in like that, and obviously his first year in, he went crazy in the transfer portal. Got some absolute ballers. And I think when that's the case, these guys that have kind of been there, like the Muschamp guys who've kind of been there, kind of dwindling out, that are good, like a Birch, they see that and they're like, oh, I'm easily replaceable, so I'm gonna go to a school where I can get anything I want. That South Carolina might not be able to offer. So that was my thinking process behind it was, yeah, it's a great job with recruiting, but we got to be able to keep these guys until their junior, senior year, whenever they're leaving to go to the draft rather than leaving and going to another team. Because obviously when we develop them, they're going to go to that other school and ball out. There's no doubt in my mind Jordan Burke will go to Oregon this year and have an absolute stud year. Just from playing in the SEC, playing at Carolina, developing, now going to the Pac-12. I mean, it's going to be a cakewalk for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he's going to make more money at Oregon. Anyways,
Definitely.
last question about way too early college football playoff preview. Could y'all maybe provide one sleeper team that could potentially sneak in that we have not mentioned?
I mean, I can throw this one out there.
Okay.
LSU Tigers.
I can see it.
Yeah,
I can see it.
that's what I was thinking.
That's the main one I'm thinking of. Endless potential. That's all I gotta say.
I got two.
Let me hear 'em.
I got two. Oregon State
Mm-hmm.
and Texas Tech. I
Mm.
think they both return a lot of dudes. They brought in a lot of transfers, especially Oregon State. You get a quarterback, which that was what they were missing last year. Bring back your top two rushers. Defense is back for Oregon State. I think they can compete for a Pac-12 championship. And like we saw, I mean, it's not going to be that hard for a team to win the Pac-12 if you go 11-1 and make the college football playoff, as we've seen. I mean, USC had it right in their hands, and they lost to Utah. And then with Texas Tech too, I mean, they can easily win the Big 12. I think it's wide open right now. TCU is going to take a step back. Texas, you never know what they're going to do. Oklahoma as well. So yeah, those are my two sleeper teams.
Notre Dame is definitely
Yeah.
catches my eye with Sam Hartman coming in. They're returning a bunch of their players. I mean, I like Notre Dame. It just depends on how they do during the season. I liked them last year too, but then they just played so awful during the first part of the season. They obviously finished strong, but yeah, I mean, I like Notre Dame, and then I'm gonna go kind of super sleeper, kind of not. I think Texas gets their shit together. I don't know. I mean, obviously, sleeper. They could squeak in maybe top 6. I think ultimately they finish. They'll definitely finish top 15. But I think they definitely get it together. They go out and score a lot of points. Their defense steps up, and so that's my second.
I'm thinking not even like in terms of top 6, maybe top 10. I'm thinking Arkansas might slip in there. Might be a hot take, but
I can see it.
I really like what I saw from Arkansas before they had all the injuries happen last season. They were on the path to being a top 10 team. And then you have your quarterback get hurt a couple of games, your running back get hurt a couple of games, wide receiver one, I believe, got hurt a couple of games. I mean, a lot of bad things happened for that team, and they were on a steady, fast incline slope. And you got I can't remember if it's KJ coming back or the running back. Yeah, and he's phenomenal. I really think they can make some noise in the SEC this upcoming season.
All right, Dave. Go ahead, Luke.
That was me. I got one for y'all. What team that's highly rated right now is going to be the biggest bust next year?
Ohio State. I don't think they got I think even though you have Marvin Harrison Jr. and you bring back a couple guys on defense, do they really have a quarterback that can do it? Because they've always had a quarterback that can do it. I think this is a year where they don't have a quarterback that can do it.
I agree.
I was gonna say Ohio State. Marvin Harrison can't do it by himself. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. I like Ohio State. I've never been an Ohio State fan, so I hate to see them in the playoff every other year. But I'm gonna go Tennessee. On paper, they look great. I think they're gonna get exposed, like South Carolina did them later on in the year. I think that's gonna happen more than once this upcoming season.
Nice. All right, Dave, I'm swinging it back to you.
All
Go ahead.
righty. All right, fellas. The next segment we got is your top 10 WWE wrestlers. Are y'all ready for this? We're gonna start off with you, James.
Okay. We asked some of the boys that could not participate tonight to send their top 10 wrestlers. So I'm going to introduce those first. I'm going to go with Mr. John Garey first. His top 10 includes the following. At number 1, actually, I'll go 10 through 1. Number 10, Kurt Angle. Number 9, Jeff Hardy. 8, Edge. 7, Rey Mysterio. 6, Brock Lesnar. 5, Randy Orton. 4, the Brahma Bull, The Rock. 3, Undertaker. Number 2, Shawn Michaels. And number 1, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Wow.
Next, we got Kelvin Jones. The Georgia Southern, the Georgia, the Miami, the Florida State, the Washington, the Texas, the Ohio State, and pretty much every team besides South Carolina and Tennessee football fan, and Florida, and Auburn. Anyway, he did an honorable mention. I'm going to go through his honorable mentions. Rob Van Dam, Sting, Eddie Guerrero, JBL, and Christian. At number 10, he's got the Viper, Randy Orton. 9, Edge. 8, Triple H, The Game. 7, Chris Jericho. 6, Kurt Angle. 5, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. 4, Razor Ramon, a.k.a. Scott Hall. 3, Bret the Hitman Hart. 2, The Rock. Number 1 as well, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Now my personal 10, I'm not doing an honorable mention. At 10, I got the Beast, Brock Lesnar. 9, Kurt Angle. 8, CM Punk. 7, Triple H. 6, John Cena. 5, Shawn Michaels. 4, The Rock. 3, Stone Cold. 2, The Undertaker. Number 1, my personal favorite of all time, Randy Orton.
All right, let's swing it over to Luke Prince.
I made this list on a mix of personal preference and where I feel like they stand on an all-time status. For a few honorable mentions, I got Edge. Y'all may not like this one right here. Undertaker did not make my top 10. I feel like it was kind of a boring wrestler to watch. I mean, obviously he's a great, but anyways, Hulk Hogan, obviously one of the faces of the WWE early, but he didn't make it. And Bret Hart. Starting off with number 10, absolute beast, Mr. Brock Lesnar. Number 9, I have one of the most iconic wrestlers of all time. Woo! Ric Flair. Number 8, quite possibly the scariest person I've ever seen in my life, Masked Kane. I have Masked Kane. 7, believe one of David's 2 favorite wrestlers of all time, Shawn Michaels. 6, David's favorite wrestler of all time, Triple H. 5, I have one of the most iconic humans of all time, The Rock. 4, I have Mr. Stone Cold Steve Austin, 316. 3, this is where it gets a little crazy. Number 3, I got one of my personal favorites, Jeff Hardy. 2, my personal favorite, Mr. Rey Mysterio. And number 1, not my personal favorite, but the greatest wrestler of all time, Randy Orton, the Viper.
Yeah, man. Come on with it.
Yeah.
All right. Let's swing it over to Matt Owens.
All right.
Matty.
First off, I'm not the biggest WWE fan, so I'm gonna just give you a little top 5 of the wrestlers
Okay.
that I know and I like. Number 5, gotta go with John Cena. Obviously, everyone knows him. Number 4, you're going with The Rock. Number 3, you're going with Ric Flair.
Mhm.
Going with Stone Cold Steve Austin, and number 1, my favorite, Undertaker.
All right. Sorry, Luke, but I think I only have like one of your favorite wrestlers in this top 10 list. But at number 10, we got the Heartbreak Kid. Shawn Michaels, come on now, man. At number 9, we got Hulk Hogan.
Mm.
At number 8, we got Ric Flair, baby. Come on. At number 7, forgotten about wrestler, Dusty Rhodes. Really paved the way for the WWE. At number 6, we got the man himself, Randy Orton. At number 5, we got the Undertaker. At number 4, we have I can't see his name. Oh wait. The Invisible Man, John Cena. Forgot about him. Sorry, I had to like put a blue light over it, then I could see it. Anyway, at number 3, we got Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Holy crap.
At number 2, we got Hunter Hearst Helmsley, aka Triple H, my favorite wrestler of all time. And number 1, we got the longest WWE champion. I think I said that wrong. Longest running WWE champion, Roman Reigns.
Yeah, frick. I completely forgot about Roman Reigns. So honorable mentions, I don't think any of us said. Batista.
Batista. Yeah.
Mhm.
Honestly, that guy just missed the cut for me. Goldberg.
Yeah,
I thought
Goldberg.
about Goldberg. Definitely up there.
Hornswoggle.
I don't think he's top 100.
Anyways, question for y'all. If, let's say you could have a time machine, whatnot, dream match between two guys,
Mm.
who we doing?
I got mine.
I got
All right,
to
go
think
ahead.
about this.
Jimmy Superfly Snuka versus Shawn Michaels.
That'd be a dope one. That'd be a dope one. Luke?
I'm thinking. I definitely want it to be a tag team match, man.
I got mine.
You can go ahead and say yours while I'm thinking.
Triple threat match.
Shoot.
Mm.
Batista versus Roman Reigns versus The Rock.
Ooh, yeah, that'd be pretty sick. Who do you think wins that match?
I don't know, man. I think you got to give it. If you were doing it right now in today's WWE climate, you give it to Roman Reigns,
Yeah.
right? But I think if they were to actually do it, I think The Rock would win.
I think so. That's what I was thinking was The Rock.
I definitely think. I don't know why I'm about to say this because I don't really enjoy watching this wrestler, but I think I would do Mask, Kane, and Undertaker versus probably The Rock and Stone Cold. I feel like that would be a great match to watch.
Mhm.
That'd be dope. That would be dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like I like Luke's. But I think they had a match before, but Randy Orton and Undertaker.
Mm.
I would maybe
Yeah, they had a pretty good match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Belt.
give me that again.
Okay.
Yeah.
And let's swing it over to James for our next topic.
All right. Final topic of the night. I'm not sure how we're going to do this quite yet, but we're doing original streaming shows draft.
I have to
Here's
pee
how
real
this
quick.
is going to work. Do you want to do 3 rounds or 5 rounds? Because I feel like there's a lot of shows we could probably do 5.
When you
What do you
say
think, Matt?
original streams, You mean
I'm getting to it. Original streaming shows. It has to come from the streaming service. So Supernatural, aka David's favorite show of all time, cannot be named.
How do we decide who gets number one pick?
You know what? Luke, you can get the first pick since you're the first time guest. Matt,
okay?
you
Well,
can do number 2. David, you
I'll make-
choose whatever you want, man.
Make David go last.
I mean, I don't know where he went, but anyways,
should we wait for him to come back, or you want me to go ahead and start?
yeah, we should wait. Matt, you were saying 3 rounds.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see how it goes, and if we want to keep going, we can keep going.
Maybe like 3 rounds and then like an honorable mention, kind of like we were doing before.
Yeah, we can do a little honorable mention.
All right.
All right, David, do you want 3rd pick or 4th pick?
I'll take last pick like usual.
All right, sounds good.
Well,
All right, Luke.
starting off this draft, I'm going to go with, in my personal opinion, the greatest series of all time, an HBO original, The Sopranos.
Crap.
Good freaking pick. Good freaking pick.
Man, I'm gonna go fairly recent. I'm gonna go Stranger Things.
Ooh.
Good pick as well.
Good one. Well, my 3rd pick, since Luke took the best show of all time. Actually, I don't think it's the best show of all time. I think it's number 2. I'm gonna go with my personal favorite, and in my opinion, the best show of all time. Another HBO original, The Wire.
Ooh.
Okay. And are we doing back to back?
Yeah, snake it.
Okay. With my first pick, we're gonna do an Amazon Prime Video original. The Boys.
That's a solid pick.
That's a
Can't
great
go wrong with that.
And with my next pick, we're gonna go with the Netflix original, Peaky Blinders.
God darn it, David.
Another solid pick, man. Crap. All right. My 2nd pick, I'm gonna go with a top 5 personal show of mine. I really enjoyed watching this series. Not a lot of seasons of it came out, but still, it's one of Netflix's higher rated television shows. Give me Narcos.
That's a good freaking pick. Holy crap. I forgot how many good shows there are.
All right, well, my second pick. Give me You on that.
Yep, that's a good one.
James
Haven't seen it personally, but
James took my pick, man. I was gonna go with Narcos, man. I get back to back here.
yeah.
Oh, brother. Okay, I don't really watch TV series and streaming series like that. One of the ones that actually did entertain me though was Black Mirror. I think that was a really entertaining series.
Good pick.
And dude, I haven't really done much research. I think with my last pick, I'm gonna go with a soon-to-be greatest. Nah, I can't do that. I was gonna take Outer Banks. Give me Outer Banks. Screw it.
Okay. Good pick. Good pick.
All right. Paramount Plus. Give me Yellowstone.
Yep.
Ooh.
Nice.
All right.
Luke,
I'm gonna go with another Netflix show. It's pretty friggin' hilarious. It's about some middle schoolers, guys. I'm sure you all know where I'm going with this. Give me Big Mouth.
It's a great pick. Great pick.
All right. Take with my last pick. I'm gonna go with. I'm stuck between 2. I think my last pick, I'm gonna go with a Netflix original, Sex Education.
Okay. Good pick.
Good
That's
pick.
honestly a pretty solid draft. If y'all want to keep going, we can. If
I'm
not,
down.
I kind of ran.
Huh?
Cool.
What'd Matt say?
I ran out of shows.
I still got 5 more written down.
Do a quick Google search if you want to, Matt. If you want to keep going.
Yeah.
I think I know what my next pick will be if nobody takes it. But after
All
that
right,
one,
Dave. I think it's back to you.
Okay.
You're on 5 rounds.
All right. This is a Disney Plus original.
Yeah.
We were just talking about it before
don't do it.
before we started the podcast. I'm gonna go with Daredevil.
Oh, thank God.
Man, good one. Well, David, I think I'm also going to go with Disney Plus original. In my opinion, my personal opinion, the greatest Marvel series, television series or streaming series. It was originally on Netflix. Give me the Punisher.
Solid pick there, James. Really, that was a good one.
Matt.
All right, Matto.
All right. So I don't know if it's 100% a Netflix show, but I know it's on Netflix. I don't know where it like originally came from, but give me Last Chance U. Is that allowed?
That's a Netflix show. Yep.
All right.
Netflix show.
That's a good pick. I honestly didn't even think about it.
I saw it.
My pick.
Yep. Yeah, too.
Brother. 2 back-to-backs. First one, shout out David Prince. Give me American Horror Story. I don't know if we're gonna count this, but if it is, then it's a steal. Are we allowing Squid Games?
Yeah, it's Netflix.
Yeah, that's Netflix original. Yeah.
Give me Squid Games then.
Dang, I forgot about Squid. Yeah, crap, dude.
Golly. Spin off of Breaking Bad. Better Call Saul.
Ooh,
Netflix series.
Great.
It's a Netflix series.
There's also another original. It's similar to Breaking Bad.
All right, my last pick. I think. Let me think. Yeah, it is my last pick. This is Disney Plus's best series, most popular series. There's a cult following for this series.
Yeah.
Give me The Mandalorian.
Great pick.
Good pick.
It's a great pick.
Stuck between 3 for my last pick, and I think it's a Hulu original. I didn't watch but a couple episodes of this series, but it's Shameless.
That's a great pick. Fantastic.
I think it is. I don't know.
I was looking online. It was streaming service original. It's not on the original streaming service it's on now. I know that much.
All right. Well, solid draft. Y'all have any honorable mentions that just didn't make the cut?
Ozark.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Trying to think of some. You could say maybe some of the Star Wars series like Obi-Wan.
What
Some
about
Marvel shows?
About The Last Dance?
Yeah, The Last Dance, technically Netflix. You could say potentially the new golf show on Netflix, Full Swing, limited series.
Will be up there when it's like
Yeah.
all said and done.
For sure. I'm trying to think of some others.
Watchmen, Peacemaker.
Yeah, Peacemaker could be up there as well. There's a lot of interesting shows out there. On My Block from Netflix.
On My Block, that's a good one.
And you could say a couple Prime shows, Jack Ryan, for instance. A lot of people enjoy that series as well.
If I was a depressed high school girl, I would say 13 Reasons Why.
Yeah, 13 Reasons Why. You could say Euphoria, HBO Max.
Those two.
White Lotus, HBO Max as well.
Is Luke Cage a Disney?
Luke Cage is a Disney Plus. Yeah,
I started watching that one a couple days ago.
Yeah. Unfortunately, these shows didn't make the cut. If that's your favorite show, I'm sorry,
Mhm.
but it's just not as good as the ones that we pick because we pick the best shows. We're definitely going to have some people go nuts about it. That's fine.
Mhm.
That's okay. We're ready for the smoke.
Can I just throw this in there? So
Yeah.
whenever we send this off to ESPN, just so that they see it. So they need to make a 30 for 30 for the Florida Gators. That Florida Gators team with like
100%.
47 criminals, the most holy quarterback leading them out on the field. That definitely needs to be a 30. I don't know if it's already in the works or what, but I think one of the greatest 30 for 30s of all time.
You know what? We're going to turn this into a little segment, guys. If there could be a show about any team, player, whatnot, what are you picking if you could create a show?
Mm.
There's so many good ones.
Yeah.
Gators, and then my two would be Reggie Bush and Johnny Manziel, like the downfall.
Okay.
Some were superstars in college, and then hit the pros, and now no one ever talks about them unless it's a Wendy's commercial. So,
Shoot.
Player
Maybe the big three in Miami.
Okay.
Ooh, that'd be a good one.
Okay.
Like Matto said, that early, what was it, 2008, 2009 Florida Gators team. That would obviously that'll be a great show to see. But if we're talking about personal preferences, I'd love to see, because I just got done watching that Aaron Hernandez documentary where it like shows the whole rundown of how he was arrested and his time in jail and stuff like that. I'd love to see a 2013 like New England Patriots documentary. Just see how they like bounced off of that. And that was like one of Tom Brady's peak years, so it would be pretty cool to see.
Cam Newton.
I think if Cam Newton would also be a good one too, man. Crap. Honestly, if I'm going player, I'd like to see honestly Michael Vick after prison. I think that'd be or just the whole thing. I just do Michael Vick after prison. I know they did something about Michael Vick in general, but Michael Vick after prison, that'd be fun to see what he's doing now. Obviously, he's a Fox analyst for football. And then I think another one, I think I'm going to go player here. I think I'd like to see RG3 as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
a good one.
just to see like how he's been able to transition from football to analyst. I think he's one of the top analysts in the game. Maybe even do a documentary on Pat McAfee as well. I think that'd be pretty sick. Just his rise to social media fame.
That'd be pretty sick.
Anyways, I think that's going to end our episode tonight, or today, or the morning, whenever you watch it. Hopefully you enjoy this episode. We'll see you next week. And good luck. Peace.
Peace.
Holy crap, it's not stopping recording.
Nice.
No, like swear. Can y'all see if y'all can do it? Holy crap.